So the United Kingdom World Update for Microsoft Flight Simulator has been delayed, but that does not stop the developers from teasing us. Today guys, I'll be sharing with you some well hidden developer shots for the upcoming World Update in the United Kingdom. Hello YouTube, I'm Pilot Stud and welcome back to another video. If you're new here, I do flight simulation videos like this all the time, so be sure to hit that subscribe button. Now a few days ago on the Twitch live stream developer Q&A, they released about a minute's worth of video showcasing some of the points of interest in the United Kingdom World Update. Now I'll be taking a look at this video today, reacting and analysing it, so stay tuned for that. We're now going to take a look at the video, let's go. So we've got Land's End, of course, very famous. The Eden Project is relatively new, but definitely a point of interest. Stonehenge, I mean, you'd have to have that. Salisbury Cathedral, an interesting choice. The Spinnaker Tower in Portsmouth, I believe. Brighton Palace Pier, that is an important VFR point for sure. Oh, the beautiful cliffs of Dover. Canterbury Cathedral. London Eye, of course, Buckingham Palace, Stamford Bridge, Windsor Castle, Blenheim Palace, Hampton Court, wow, Warwick Castle, that's unexpected, and Principality Stadium, I believe it's the Millennium Stadium in Wales, and Snowdonia. Okay, so as you saw there in that short clip, we've got loads of points of interest, or main points of interest, included in that video. But remember guys, there's 40, so it'll be very interesting to see what other ones they pull out. Now of course they could just go around and build the main football rugby stadiums in each town and city around the UK, but I think that'd be quite boring. Now Land's End and Snowdonia were the two geographic points of interest they seem to work on, and you can see it's nice photogrammetry. Now to me that does look a bit unappealing. I personally prefer some texturing on there. I know they've gone off the Google Earth photogrammetry or the Bing Maps photogrammetry, but I don't know about you guys, but that looks quite ugly to me. So I hope they do improve that by the time it's released. It just looks a bit like weird to me. You guys probably know what I mean. Now you guys may be looking at the Eden Project and thinking, what on earth is that? Well, basically, inside those domes are kind of like massive gardens, all based off kind of ecosystems from all around the world. It's down in the west of the country, and it's a very popular tourist attraction. They've also got, I think, one of the biggest zip wires in the UK down there. So it's certainly an interesting point of interest, but certainly worth it, a worthy contender on the list. I don't really need to talk about Stonehenge. I mean, that was obvious that that's going to come. That is truly, yeah, you need that. If that wasn't in the UK update, then there would be, I don't know, uproar. Now, if you don't know, the history of the United Kingdom is quite religious, so we've got loads of cathedrals, massive kind of Gothic-style cathedrals all around the country, and Salisbury Cathedral is pretty famous for that. So I'm not overly surprised by Salisbury Cathedral, but I think it's a nice addition. Now, looking closely at the detail, you can see in some places it's pretty good, and in others it's not so good. Like on the spire there, they could probably do with a bit more texturing on there, in my opinion. However, remember guys that this is a video, and the resolution or even the sim might be making it look worse than it actually does. Now Spinnaker Tower in Portsmouth has actually got some aviation links to it, so at one point it was owned by Emirates. I'm not too sure if it is now, but I know it's definitely sponsored by Emirates at a time, so it was actually called the Emirates Spinnaker Tower. Now I've never been here personally, it does look a bit out of place in real life, I have to admit, but hey, this is certainly a point of interest, you cannot disagree with that one. Now Portsmouth and that area on the south coast of the UK is an area personally I fly around quite a bit. I think that's a nice addition. Brighton before, it's a very nice place, and Brighton Palace Pier is of course a very handy VFR point for those coming out of Shoreham Airfield nearby. Now at the start of this video I did say that Snowdonia and Land's End were the two geographical features, but we've got the cliffs of Dover. I mean, these are so recognisable, so they really, I think they were kind of in the sim, but they weren't too well modelled, so this is a worthy contender, and I'm glad this is in the sim. Now, looking at this closely, you can see we've got some different type of autogen. Now, I'm not too sure, but those houses look a lot more English to me as opposed to kind of the American houses we seem dotted about. So that could be a good thing. Hopefully, they will have gotten rid of the apartments in the middle of the countryside because that's not realistic. Now, not too far from the cliffs of Dover, we've got Canterbury Cathedral, and as again, like Salisbury, it's a worthy contender, as the UK was quite religious in its past. Moving slap bang literally in the centre of London. It is of course the centre of Greenwich Mean Time, so basically this is where the world's clock starts. But we've got Greenwich University and the World Heritage Sites. Now of course I kind of expected it to be in this update, but you guys can also see behind us we've got some landmarks in London. But you guys can also see that we've got Canary Wharf behind us, and at the moment they haven't got the correct towers there, so that's telling me that they haven't completely worked on that one yet. A bit worrying if I'm being honest, because it comes out in a week, but I'm sure they'll handle it. Moving right up to the River Thames, we've got the London Eye, we've also got Big Ben and all of that, and of course we've got boats on the Thames. Yay! It means it covers up the horrible boats we had there before. Be nice to see if we have HMS Belfast there as well, an interesting addition for sure. Now, of course, you guys may be familiar with the Orbex Landmark Pack. Now, I'm not too sure whether this will kind of conflict with it, or whether you would just get a refund or whatever. I doubt it would be a refund, but you guys know it. Sometimes surprises happen like that. And of course, the main residence of Queen Elizabeth II, Buckingham Palace. I mean, we really did need this at the start, if I'm being perfectly honest. But you can also see we've got the Mall. We really needed this as well, with its famous red roads, and of course the Victoria Monument outside. Looks beautiful, I have to say. I mean, look at the details on that fence there. It looks marvellous. For any footy fans, we've got Chelsea, or Stamford Bridge is the official stadium name. I'm not a massive football fan, but I do know a bit, so there we go. It's nice to have some football stadiums around the country. I believe we'll have almost all of the main Premier League clubs, but hey ho, I don't know, it might not happen like that. Another residence of the royal family, we've got Windsor Castle, the bigger castle out of them all, I'm pretty sure, and not too far away from Heathrow Airport either. So this would be a good visual point for you guys to use if you're flying VFR from Heathrow, which of course I highly doubt you will be. Moving over into the countryside, we've got the birthplace of Winston Churchill, Blenheim Palace, a world famous location of course. I think they might have used it for some TV show, although I'm not 100% sure, I imagine they would do. Moving back into London, we've got the residence of Henry VIII, I think, Hampton Court Palace. Now it is actually still a royal palace, although they don't use it anymore, and I think it's got one of the world's biggest hedge mazes, so if you know, it is what it is, a pretty cool location. Moving slightly more up north, we've got Warwick Castle. Not a location I've been to personally, but it looks cool. I like castles, I hope you guys like castles, so it's nice to have some more in this sim. Now looking at the houses behind us as well, you can see that some of them look more British, while others don't, so maybe it's a work in progress, but we can hope. Now we haven't had any footage from most of the other nations except from England. We've got one here at Wales, Principality Stadium, of course. They do a lot of rugby here, and it's very well detailed, I have to say. Caledonia National Park as well. Now I was flying with the F-15 through the Mach Loop here, so maybe they've modelled it better, but from what I could see, it was already pretty good, so maybe they didn't need to do this. But I'm sure there's some details they could put on it to make it look a lot nicer. Now finally we've got an aqueduct, and I'm not even going to try and pronounce it, that would just be embarrassing. I do apologise to any Welsh viewers, but this is one of the tallest aqueducts, I believe it is the tallest in the United Kingdom, and it's in northern Wales. Now an aqueduct, this one is used to transport canals, so I mean it's a very unique structure, especially now in the UK anyway. So there we have it guys, taking a look at some exclusive footage from this stream regarding the UK World Update. As well as this, we'll have London and a few other cities remodelled. And of course 5 new handcrafted airports as well. I've talked about it in the video before this regarding the UK World Update. I'm personally very excited for all of these, as of course it is my home country. It's going to be fantastic and I can't wait for it to come out in about a week's time. Be sure to like, comment and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, but from me today that is all, bye bye.